offers more than 55 flexible online certificates that provide short-term credentials and real-world skills you can use immediately. With a range of affordable undergraduate and graduate certificates in high-demand fields like business, AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, and healthcare, you can earn credentials quickly to help advance your career. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrude Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrude's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrude's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrude's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrude's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabruds. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Hey folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news, because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family-owned, locally owned, HVAC experts, serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento.
Sacktown.
And welcome in.
Grant Napear. How you been?
You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
Time to begin. 2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
And a happy Monday to you. Welcome to the Grant Napear Show here on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Rhino sitting in for Napes today. Stick with us. We have got a tremendous show coming up for you. The phone number, 916-779-0929. YouTube, simulcast, chat, what is up? Text the show as well, 916-779-0929. Happy you're here, and really, really happy to meet all of you over the weekend that came out to the Brewfest. What a time. Thank you for stopping by the Fox Sports Studio Lounge, sponsored by Elk Grove Chevrolet. It was a blast getting to see so many of you, getting your feedback on the show, talking Kings, talking Sacramento, talking the draft. Many of you happy to have Grant back in town. Grant will be back in the chair tomorrow, but like I said, we have a great show coming up for you. Starting at 3:20, Kevin John from ABC 10 is going to join us. I don't know if I know anybody that works as hard as Kevin John. If somebody has a pulse on this city, it's Kevin. So we're going to talk Kings. Also want to talk about what Kevin does beyond ABC 10. Pretty amazing stuff there. Also joining us, 4 p.m., Jeremiah Salmonson, Sacramento Radio Service insider and writer, Section 105 podcast. You've heard Mark Haynes on the show before. Jeremiah is his partner. Really, really good at what he does. So he'll be with us at 4. And then 5 o'clock, Joe Davidson of the Sacramento Bee, taking over hour number 3, with me today. So can't wait to dive a little deeper with Joe. Think about how much he's been involved in the sports scene here in Sacramento, professionally, high school, college. I want to get your questions too, because I said this last time that Joe Davidson was on. He has affected so many of our young athletes in ways that you can't imagine. As simple as throwing your son's name into an article where it might not have been commonplace to see your son in the paper, etc. So we'll hear from Joe. Looking forward to the takeover with him during the 3 o'clock hour. So, where to start on a Monday? The Russell Westbrook stuff, old news to me. The Kings break their franchise record 9-game home losing streak last night, beating the Chicago Bulls. Westbrook, 208th career triple-double. Should we go there? Maybe we go to Adam Silver. What about Adam Silver? Typical commissioner ears. Dropping a hammer that should have been dropped a week ago if he was going to do it. Maybe we swerve there. No. You know where we're starting? The second week of March? How about the National Football League? The new league year kicks off on Wednesday, but free agency is well underway. I don't know how it works, where all the deals are coming out, but they can't be finalized until Wednesday with the trades, etc. But what I do know is Grant and I were sitting here on Friday, and we were talking about bold predictions. And he said, will Max Crosby be a member of the Raiders. Come the draft, no later than I got Friday's show edited, this dropped. Max Crosby traded to the Baltimore Ravens. How about this? Here's Albert Breer on the entire trade and the details of Max to Baltimore.
All right, blockbuster trade on Friday night. The Baltimore Ravens have acquired star pass rusher Max Crosby from the Las Vegas Raiders for 2 first-round picks. That's a price that not very many people thought the Raiders would be able to get for Crosby, who will be 29 years old before the 2026 opener. But the Raiders get it, and it's because the Ravens had a very clear need at that position. That Baltimore defense is loaded with talent, guys who are entering the prime of their careers, in the prime of their careers, or on the back end of the prime of their careers. There's guys like Nnamdi Madubuike, who's going to be coming back off of injury, Roquan Smith, Nate Wiggins, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. And that was the one real hole that defense had. It's been a hole that they've been trying to fill for the last few years. They had just 30 sacks last year. That's their lowest total in over 10 years. And they fill it in a very big way by going and getting one of the best pass rushers in all of football. This is the first time the Ravens have ever traded a first-round pick for a player, and they trade 2 of them for one player. As for the Raiders, very clearly, this has been coming down the pike for some time. This goes all the way back to October when Crosby injured his knee. If you remember, the end of December, he had some scans done on the knee. The Raiders make the decision to shut him down. Crosby's feeling, based on the communication he was getting from the team, was that decision was made based on the Raiders' desire to go and get the first overall pick. That clearly offended Crosby, and Crosby stormed out of the building a couple of days later. And while Crosby has had amicable discussions with guys like GM John Spytek, Coach Clint Kubiak, clearly the idea of leaving the team was born, and now he's gone. Despite his loyalty to the organization, despite his long-stated desire to be a one-franchise player, which is tough to achieve in today's NFL, and despite his loyalty to the Davis family. So Max Crosby now a Baltimore Raven, and the Las Vegas Raiders now have the 1st and 14th overall picks in the 26th draft.
Raider fan, give us a call, 916-779-0929. You can text that same number. You now have the 1st and 14th picks, as Albert Breer said, in this year's draft. By the way, the Raiders were not done. They landed, reportedly, Tyler Lindenbaum, securing that offensive line at the center position. Here's Adam Schefter.
3 years, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed, highest paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. And think about this. The Raiders trade Max Crosby to the Ravens. It frees up salary space. They had a lot. They had all the space. Now they go take the Ravens center, Tyler Linderbaum, going to the Las Vegas Raiders to snap for, we presume, Fernando Mendoza.
So the Raiders clearly looking to do what they need to do, what every successful NFL team has done, and that is bolster the trenches, especially if you're going to go get Mendoza with the number 1 pick. You still have Ashton Genty, who will be coming into his sophomore season at running back. So Raiders fans, what do you think? Mad Max was the face of the Raiders. You knew this marriage was inevitably coming to a divorce, but you get what you wanted in 2 first-round picks. As for Max, he now goes from working for one of the worst owners in the NFL to one of the best owners, undoubtedly, in the NFL, in Steve Bisciotti. You remember Steve Bisciotti, who came to the press conference not 6-8 weeks ago and put on the most transparent and really refreshing presser, both for the media, but for the fan base, and demonstrated what a healthy owner does? Yeah, this Steve Bisciotti.
If Tyler Loop makes that field goal, is John Harbaugh still here coaching this team?
For a week. Because like I said, this is an all hands on deck. When we fail together. I'm not doing this to be back like some of my partners doing this every 3 or 4 years. I mean, to me, that's hell on earth. Jerry talking about what part of his anatomy he would give up for a Super Bowl at 83 years old. I don't want to be there. I'll probably bail somewhere around 10 years from now when I have a really bad season or back-to-back seasons. And he'll probably be coming with me, right? Eric said he's not a lifer either. So a lot to say, but he has no power. I have the power. They have opinions, and I want them all. I care about my players very much, but I can't give them power.
And how about now the AFC North? Are you kidding me? Joe Burrow? You think he's looking forward to coming to work? That Baltimore defense, with the guys that they're going to be getting back, is going to have the potential to change things around, to balance things out for Lamar Jackson. As long as the Ravens can not fumble, maybe, just maybe, they are bringing it closer and closer to the standard that Bisciotti is looking for. Niners fan, I have not forgotten about you. Yes, I saw Deebo Samuel in the city. Yes, it was all over social media. That's not the only thing. Guess what, Niners fans? You just went and got yourself a future Hall of Fame receiver. Now, the big question, like everything else around the Niners last season, can he stay healthy? Damon Bruce on the big signing of Mike Evans.
If Mike Evans stays healthy, the 49ers have just picked up a future Hall of Fame wide receiver. He only played 8 games last year for Tampa Bay, but Mike Evans is a 49ers wide receiver. They certainly needed to do something in that regard. Wendell Robinson went to the Tennessee Titans, so that hasn't happened. No word on Dobbs, no word on Deebo yet, but Mike Evans, a 3-year deal that could be worth up to $60 million coming to the 49ers. Again, he only played 8 games last year due to hamstrings and a collarbone injury. Great player, late in his career. What does he have left? Niners fans are about to find out.
And that is just cracking the surface around the National Football League. So, plenty to talk about with the NFL if you want to go that way. Rhino in for Grant today. Grant Napear Show. Get involved with us. 916-779-0929. We have Kevin John from ABC 10 coming up in just about 7 minutes. Jeremiah Salmonson, 4 o'clock. And 5 o'clock, SAC B's Joe D takes over the third hour with me. Let's get to some messages really quick before we get out and welcome Kevin John to the show. John Finch, oh my gosh, maybe, just maybe we'll have time to get to that story. John says, even I had a great time kicking it with you and Grant at the Beer Fest last weekend. Thank you for treating me like a king. I owe you one, buddy. John Finch did not have a ticket to Beer Fest when he showed up. And John Finch found a way in to Beer Fest without our help. Incredible story. Maybe we'll get to it. Is that Frank Caliendo? No, it is not. I watched the drop. I watched Adam Schefter. Frank Caliendo is pretty good, though. He is pretty good. Let's see. Beer Fest. I would have went, but I am trying to lose weight. It was a beautiful day. Capitol Mall was packed, and I mean packed. And we really, really had a nice time. So thank you to everybody that came out and hung out with us. We can go, Carl says, with Mike Evans to the Niners. Yep. And Tua to the Falcons. Like I said, just scratching the surface when it comes to the NFL signings and transactions. So we will continue talking NFL. We have not touched really the Kings, so we'll get into that. They light the beam for the 15th time. this season. They're in action again tomorrow against Indy. We'll hit that with Kevin John. Here on the other side, we've got a great show ahead. Thanks for being here. Let's get after it. The Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio, Sacramento.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabrudes. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabrudes or visit Gabrudes.com. Gubruds.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Downtown Ford Sacramento welcomes you with literally acres of new and Ford certified pre-owned vehicles on site. You can start planning a road trip up into the snow now because Downtown Ford has the vehicles to get you there. And our top-notch service team will keep it running perfectly as long as you own it. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and fleet vehicles. Downtown Ford Sacramento. Open daily on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center.
My retired friends are going back to work. I'm worried Social Security won't be enough. BenefitsCheckup.org connected me to $1,000 a month for food and medicine. It's free. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Thanks for kicking off the week with us here on Fox Sports Radio, the Grant Napear Show. Rhino in for Napes today. He will be back tomorrow. Thank you, partner, for trusting me with the big chair. Very much appreciated. Like I said, a lot going on in the NFL. Certainly the Kings still have a little meat left on the bone with their season. We've got a great show still ahead, but as promised, we are joined by ABC 10 Sports. My guy, also a professor. We'll get to that. And somebody that I have great respect for, that's got a great pulse on what's going on in Sacramento. We are joined by none other than Kevin John. KJ, what's up, dude?
Right. Well, first of all, man, I just hope I can live up to that incredible introduction that you gave for me right there. I mean, that right there, right, if anything ever happens to me, you got to give the eulogy at my funeral, because that was very kind words that you said right there, man. So thank you so much for having me. It is a joy. It is a privilege. It is a pleasure. It is an honor to be on the show with you. And, it's the least I could do for the guy who's hooked me up with the greatest pair of shoes that I have.
Are they the greatest pair? I saw you got another pair right around Christmas too.
I was about to say, if you've ever seen my shoe collection, you know I am not a sneakerhead, bro. I still got like Pro Wings and British Knights that I rock. So I've never been quite the sneakerhead. So yes, you hooked me up. Also, my former colleague Matt George hooked me up with a pair of shoes around Christmas. You know, I think a lot of you guys see me and you're like, poor Kevin, man, his shoe selection is terrible. We need to hook the man up with something.
No, you know what it is. We're just KJ, you know what it is? You are constantly on the run. Nobody grinds harder than you. You need to have comfort, my man. You got to have the right shoes.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And in regards to grinding, man, I just want to stay employed, especially in this economy. Yeah. It's like, you can never have enough jobs or be involved in enough endeavors because you always feel like you're behind. So at least I got my comfortable pair of Nikes when I'm running and grinding and running from, Golden One Center to high school basketball to my college classes to everything. At least you got me well taken care of, man. So I feel like I'm doing like a commercial for your shoes that you got.
You're the best. You're the best, KJ.
Thank you, brother.
Kevin John, ABC 10, joining us right now. I want to get to some of the stuff that you just mentioned on the back end, but we started the show talking NFL. You were all over San Francisco for the Super Bowl. What was that experience like for you, Kev?
Well, anytime you get the privilege to cover arguably the greatest sporting event annually, that alone, I mean, I don't care. You could have the freaking, Panthers playing against the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. It's still going to be a huge event. By the way, if you have any Panthers or Dolphins fans, that was not a diss to you guys. But, it's just a great event. Aside from the actual game itself, just energy of everything, the people that are there, the attraction of it, the spectacle of it. It's literally like Coachella meets the Olympics. It's this massive event. So this is the second Super Bowl I've had the privilege of covering. I covered the one 2 years ago. That was when the Niners lost to the Chiefs in overtime in Las Vegas. So this was the second one I had the chance to cover. It was an incredible experience. Even though the game was a snooze fest for like the first half, it was really an incredible event to cover. And you never take for granted being in there, especially as a kid growing up watching the Super Bowl on TV, to actually be there in person. You never take it for granted. So it was a wonderful experience.
Clearly, you had not watched that much Seattle Seahawks football, because that was status quo. Seattle Seahawks football in the Super Bowl. Boring, weird, awkward, but super fun, super cool that you got to be a part of that. Let me ask you about the moves that were made this weekend and today for the Raiders and the Niners. What are your thoughts?
Whoa. Well, before I get to that, I do want to reference something real quick you said about the Seahawks, and I 100% agree with you. I was actually at Levi Stadium to cover the regular season finale, which was the Niners against the Seahawks. Obviously, if the Niners had won that game, they would have got home field advantage, the number one seed in the NFC, and the Super Bowl would have ran through Levi Stadium. That game was also boring. Niners lost 13-3. The reason why, that Seahawks defense, my God, is more smothering than gravy on grandma's mashed potatoes. I mean, they would not allow the 49ers to do anything. We also saw that again when the Niners played them in, the divisional round, and they got mollywopped. But to your point, you're absolutely right. Anyone who's paid attention to the Seahawks this year, that defense is atrocious. So what do the 49ers do today to maybe help them against a defense like that? They go out and acquire one of the best veteran receivers, Mike Evans. This is a guy who had 11 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. I mean, since he got in the league, it wasn't like he had a couple of, bad seasons and then got going. This guy came into the league NFL ready. He's not only just an incredible receiver, but he brings so much to this Niners offense. As we all know, Kyle Shanahan is the offensive guru. He is one of the most innovative, creative, offensive minds in the NFL. You bring in someone like Mike Evans, who can be a possession receiver, who could be a deep threat receiver if need be. But more than anything, he's a reliable receiver. Granted, he did miss, I believe he only played in 8 games last season or something like that. Don't quote me on it. But this is somebody who is reliable when his number is called. Really good to bring in a veteran presence like that with Brock Purdy, especially when you look at this Niners receiving core this past year with injuries.
Right.
Brandon Ayuk doesn't know whether he wants to go 100 miles per hour in his car by a stadium or be on the team. Ricky Pearsall was banged up. I mean, this Niners receiving core, for a minute, Rhino, I thought they were going to call me and ask you to come out and play receiver for them. They were that banged up. So I'm definitely excited about the move the Niners made today in acquiring Evans.
Love it, KJ. Kevin John, ABC 10, joining us. Let's transition really quick to the Kings, because you are always amongst the people. How do you read the pulse of this fan base right now, Kay?
Disgusted, tired, exhausted. Any other superlatives to come up with that? Disturbed. I mean, Rhino, this is a team that made the playoffs once in the last 20 years. This is a team who went through 7 years, 16 seasons of mediocre, below average, horrendous basketball. And this is also the best fan base in the NBA. The fans deserve more. That goes without saying. I mean, now, let me be real, Ryan. Coming into the season, I don't think any Kings fan said, this is our year. We're going to the playoffs. We're going to the, NBA. No, nobody had that. But you would at least expect with this roster, with what they had, you would expect them to be playing team. I did not think, Ryan, 65 games through the season, this Kings team would have 15 wins and 50 losses. And I mean, some of these losses downright awful. The Stockton Kings, the reigning G League champion Stockton Kings probably would have gave a better fight in some of these games. But the thing that I will say, and I was at practice on Saturday, and one of the things I want to reference is in practice this Saturday, Doug Christie has done, I think, in my eyes, the best job given what he's been given. He inherited this roster. And yes, I understand some of his rotational changes cause a little bit of question and suspect, some of the guys getting DNPs and whatnot. I know there's some questions, but overall, Doug Christie kind of inherited this mess. But when I was at practice on Saturday, Ryan, one of the things that intrigued me was just how well the vibes were. Everybody was excited. You would not know this was a 50-loss team at practice. You would think this is a team gearing up to make a playoff run.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the sense of how excited everybody was. You see everyone from Christie to Mike Woodson to BJ Armstrong, all of these guys, having a good time. Even the players having a good time. Russell Westbrook out there laughing, enjoying, and obviously we know what happened with him in the media on Thursday night.
Right.
But you see this team, it looks like a team who knows their identity. It looks like a team who knows who they are, what they're capable of doing. If I would have just walked in there and had no background on this team, I would think that this is a championship caliber team. The way practice was run, the way the spirits were high. And at this point in the season, it's unfortunate what happened to the Kings this year, but when you shut down Levine, you shut down Sabonis, and have all these, season-ending injuries, at this point, it's like, okay, let's just finish the rest. What is it, 17 games left? And at least try to have some dignity for this team.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because the vibes have always been pretty good throughout the season when we've been let into practice, joking around, guys even getting up a ton of work after practice, Kev. It's just confusing how it does not translate to the court, and certainly injuries are a big part of that. But the bottom line is this the worst Sacramento Kings season in the history of the franchise?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question, and I've heard a lot of people debating about that. I don't know if I'm going to say this is the worst, but I would say it's definitely in the top 2.
Yeah.
So it's hard because when you look at the talent on this roster, you have 2 Hall of Famers one first ballot Hall of Famer in Russell Westbrook. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan will get in. Levine, Sabonis, we don't know at this point in time in their careers. But I think this is the worst season given the talent on this roster. If you look at this roster on paper, and I get this is not a roster that is going to necessarily say, oh, my God, this team is going to win 6 games. But, my God, you do not think with the talent on this roster that they would win only 15 games, 65 games into the season.
Right.
So I think with the talent, the veteranship that this roster has, even the coaching staff, I think that there's too much talent all around for this team to be as bad as they are. So I think given the context of that, yes, this is the worst team, at least in the Sacramento era, that I've seen, you know, given all of the things that this team had or somewhat had going for them.
Kevin John joining us here on the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Radio. One more Kings question, and then I want to transition to a little bit more on you. Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, are they on the roster starting off next season?
I think the Devin Carter ship is kind of sold.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, we saw him get how many DMPs earlier in the season, and then about a week, 2 weeks ago, you see Christie kind of inserting him back into the lineup, him getting a good run, and then last night he played 6 minutes last night at 3 points. I just kind of think the whole Devin Carter experience is. I think that ship is sold.
Do you, Kev,
I don't really.
Let me cut you off just really quick. Do you feel Devin's been given an actual shot here in Sacramento?
Well, it's kind of hard to say because, you know, when he was drafted in the first round, 2 years ago, that first season, he missed, you know, a good chunk of it due to that shoulder injury.
Right.
So he never really had a chance because remember, when he had that shoulder injury and he had to get the surgery, you miss a lot of the offseason. You miss a lot of, you know, training and all of that stuff.
Summer League.
So you miss a lot of important things to get you ready. So, yeah, I do feel that kind of hurt him in a way, his injury. You know, not to draw it to the 49ers, but you kind of look at what happened to Trey Lance, somebody who was kind of injured, didn't really give a lot of patience with, shipped him on. And I look at Devin Carter, and I'm like, you know, this is somebody who the Kings got in the first round just a couple of years ago.
Right.
Not that the Kings needed another guard, to be honest with you, Rhino. When they picked him in the first round, I was one of those like, what are they doing picking this guy?
Tristan De Silva's hanging there.
Devin Carter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with everyone who was there. I think you had Dalton Connect who was there.
Yep.
There was a lot of guys. So I thought the selection of Carter was questionable from the get-go. And then he can't even play the first half of the season or however long it was. And so, yeah, the whole Devin Carter thing to me has been eye-scratch or, you know, just kind of mind-boggling because this is a guy you didn't necessarily need. A guy you get, he can't play immediately. And then once he is available, he's getting DNP. So to answer your question, I think Carter, I just don't see a scenario where he is on the team next year, especially with the father that he has, who's a coach in this league and has been around this league. I think he's going to be one of the people to try to get Carter out of Sacramento. Sabonis is a little bit more interesting because when you look at his contract, you look at what he's owed, you look at just, you know, obviously they couldn't move him during the trade or before the trade deadline this year. So I think Sabonis is a little more complex when looking at all of the things surrounding him. But I think the main question is, does Sabonis want to be in Sacramento?
Yeah.
I mean, we know he has his great house in Napa. He's doing his thing with the wine, but does he really want to be here in Sacramento? I honestly don't think so. I mean, I think that he wants to go to a contender, especially at this point in his career.
Mm-hmm.
He's approaching 30? I don't know off the top of my head. But I don't see Sabonis wanting to come back with a team that is rebuilding and may not be competitive or contender for the next 3 years. I don't see Sabonis wasting the latter half of his prime sitting in an organization that doesn't even know their identity or know when they're going to actually be contenders again.
Spot on. And if it was a Phoenix situation where Phoenix is like, we're going a different direction, even though it's a guy that we felt couldn't do it on his own in Devin Booker. So we've tried putting stars around him and that hasn't worked. We're really going to try to put the pieces around him, make sure he knows he's the leader and rebuild around Dev. And I don't see the Kings doing that with Domantas Sabonis based off, and I know injuries have been a part of that. I don't see the Kings saying, all right, we're going to rebuild this around Domas. Let's go. And if you're Domas, why are you going to be around for that if you're just going to be a piece? So I think you're spot on, Kev.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You look at this draft. The Kings are going to get a lottery pick as bad as they are. You look at this draft. You look at the people in this draft, the Darren Petersons of the world, the AJ Javatsas of the world, the Cam Boozers of the world, Caleb Wilsons of the world, Kingston Flemings, on and on. All of these players coming out in this draft. You're going to have some potential franchise leading players in this draft. The problem is none of those guys are going to be ready to lead a franchise their rookie season, their sophomore season, or even so. So it's going to be, even if you try to get one of these high prospects in the draft to pair with Sabonis, it's still going to take time for them to gel. It's not like all of a sudden next year the Kings are going to win 55 games and be in playoff contention.
Right.
Regardless of what the Kings do to try to keep Sabonis happy, I don't see a scenario, right, where Sabonis is here next year and the Kings instantly make themselves a contender. Unless you go out and, pull in a Giannis or, something ridiculous like that, there's nothing that I see the Kings doing to keep Sabonis happy while making themselves an instant contender next year.
Amen. We haven't even talked about the financials of them projecting to be in the second apron right now for next year. So that's a little bit of a consideration too. Kevin John joining us for one more moment. ABC 10s, Kevin, John. Look, Grant is really big on giving back to the community and paying things forward. And you, with your job, just with the station, you are grinding constantly, but you are somebody that is paying it forward here to the local community as well. You're a big brother and you're a professor at CRC. I absolutely love that you are trying to inspire up-and-coming journalists. Tell us about what's going on at CRC and your experience being a professor there.
Well, thanks so much for saying that. And also shout out to Grant. I know Grant has done so many wonderful things in this community throughout his years and decades covering the Kings and being here. So, huge shout out to Grant for definitely being a champion for the community and giving back. But, Ryan, it's interesting. One of my favorite quotes of all time, is by Rick Warren. And he says, God determines greatness on how many people you serve, not how many people serve you. Say that one more time. God determines greatness on how many people you serve, not by how many people serve you. And we live in a world where we're all about getting followers and likes and people serving us and stuff. And we think that's what signifies greatness. We think that is what describes what greatness is. How many followers, how many people serve you. It's the exact opposite. It's what you are doing for others, because that is a better legacy that you can leave, better than anything on this planet. And, Ryan, when I got into this business over 10 years ago, I had to claw, fight, grind. I mean, I remember sitting at my computer hours at a day, emailing sports directors, emailing news directors, emailing broadcasters, people in the business, seeking mentorship, seeking help, seeking guidance. I could not find anybody. And I just remember how frustrating it was trying to get a few people to reach back to me. By the way, shout out to Jay Harris from ESPN. He was one of the only people who actually got back to me and helped me out. But I realized, Ryan, early on, how important it is to have a mentor or have somebody who can help you out and guide you and whatnot, because I was lacking that. So, Ryan, when I was fortunate enough to land my first job in this business, shout out to Little Rock, Arkansas, I had always said, whenever I got into this business, man, I am going to do any and everything in my power to help out the next generation. Because what good does it gain a man or profit a man or woman to learn everything if they're not going to use that knowledge to help out other people? And that's how I looked at it. So the moment I got my first opportunity, I was definitely looking for ways to help, to service, to mentor, and things of that sort. So, because I know, I mean, Ryan, we know in this business, sports jobs are not easy to find. They are hard to come by.
They don't get
jobs
posted, Kev. They don't get posted online. Let's just put it that way.
Thank you. They are hard, whether it's sports radio, sports broadcasting, local sports and television. They're hard to get. So, I always said I'm going to do everything in my power to help out the next generation. So I had been mentoring young journalists over the last, 9-10 years that I've been in this business. And then a little over a year ago, there was a job at CRC, Columbus River College, for an adjunct professor, broadcast journalism. And it actually worked out perfectly because I had just recently graduated from grad school a couple of years ago with my master's in mass communication and journalism, and it was an education concentration. So, I was fresh coming off of that, and I was like, what, why don't I put this to use? And I saw the opportunity, man, and I'm like, this allows me to combine two things that I absolutely love: giving back, mentoring, teaching, and broadcast journalism, which is something that I love and I'm passionate about. So it was like the perfect job for me to blend both of those things. And this is my fourth semester as an adjunct professor. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. And it is tough. I do want to say to all my educators out there, I got love for you guys, because lesson planning is no joke. Grading is no joke. There's so much, Ryan, I have a class 2 days a week from 12 to 2:30, 2.5 hours each. So 5 hours of instruction each week.
Yeah.
That may not seem like a lot of time, but lesson planning, grading, all of the other things I do outside of class with my students, that takes up a lot of time. But it is a rewarding, exhausting, because I'm truly helping students pursue and achieve their dreams.
I love it, Kevin. I can't thank you enough for the time that you've given me, because your time is precious, and I very, very much value our relationship. Great stuff, man. Thank you so much for joining us today, brother.
Right, Ryan, thanks so much for having me, man. I feel, it's funny, when you reached out to me, I was like, man, they must be desperate over there if they call little old Kevin John.
Stop.
They no one must have been available.
Get out of here.
But all jokes aside, though, Ryan, I'm really proud of you, man. You're such a good dude. You're not only great at what you do, you're a kind soul away from the microphone, and I'm really proud of what you and Grant have built over there. And I'm always cheering for you guys.
Thanks, brother. Same is true with us, for you and everybody over there at ABC 10. Have a great day, man. Appreciate you, Kev. See you tomorrow night.
Absolutely, brother. I'll see you soon, man. God bless.
God bless, brother. That is ABC 10, Kevin. ABC 10's Kevin John. Love Kev. Like, that's what it's about. It's about giving back. And also, did you catch how knowledgeable that guy is? How well-spoken he is? Incredible stuff. He gets it. You know what else gets it? It's Prize Picks. Have you joined me yet on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy site? If you have, you are getting paid. You're getting paid. We hit a 6-way last night. So do me a favor. Go download the Prize Picks app and use the code Rhino50 to get $50 in free play after your first $5 play. That's Rhino50, RYNO50. You might be asking, is it complicated? No, it's super simple. All you do is pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less on their stat predictions that night, and you are off to the races. No revolving lineups. Find a community there. Come join my community there. They also, Prize Picks, are offering early payouts if your lineup gets off to a good start. So download the Prize Picks app today. If you haven't already, use the promo code Rhino, RYNO50. to, again, get $50 in free lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Short segment on the other side. We'll wrap up hour number 1. We'll kick off hour number 2 with Jeremiah Salmonson. Sis, the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Radio.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrude's does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrude's, expert, 5-star service, and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrudes.com.
At Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, just as our name says, we're in the business of home comfort. So if the heater goes out and the house is suddenly uncomfortable, we got your back. Sierra Pacific's friendly heating and air technicians are always ready to come to the rescue when you need it the most. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, trusted heating, air, solar, and electric experts. Visit today at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air, the guys in the big red trucks.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Are you SAC Alert? Have you signed up to receive emergency alerts via phone, text, email, or app? Well, what are you waiting for? Winter is coming, and that means there is potential for storms and flooding in our county. Don't get caught off guard or left in the cold. Get urgent storm evacuation and shelter information immediately sent directly to your device. Sign up today at sacramento-alert.org. Again, that's sacramento-alert.org. It's free, quick, and easy to do, and can literally be a lifesaver.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Rhino in for Grant here on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. If you missed any of hour number 1, it will replay at 6 o'clock. My thanks to Kevin John. Incredible conversation there with him. We've talked NFL moves. Mike Evans headed to the Niners. How you like that, Niners fan? I like what Kevin brought to that topic. Also, Max Crosby traded. We've talked a little bit of Kings. We'll get into them more with Jeremiah Salmonson at the top of hour number 2. Joe Davidson still ahead. Hour number 3. Looking forward to that. I want to get to some of the comments. And we have a short segment here before we get to Jeremiah. And it's something that I'm going to get into with him because he was asking some questions last night about Daquan Plowden that I think apply to this conversation. And it's this. This is from A380 Suite. Rhino, you need to give up on Devin Carter. Enjoy the G League relationship you'd had with him, but he's peaked with the Kings. Let him go. Someone else will sign him and develop him bench worthy. It's not about Devin Carter specifically. It's where is the disconnect with this basketball team that seems to be incredibly well-versed at finding talent that's undrafted or in the late rounds or signing them from the G League. How are they so good at finding the right talent, developing that talent, and then just what happens? It falls off the cliff. You stop playing Keon Ellis. Devin Carter is a different situation because as Kevin laid out the injuries, he was drafted by a different front office. And it's something that's worth pointing out. Since Tyrese Halliburton, the Kings' ledger when it comes to drafting combo guards has not exactly been great. You know who's a combo guard? Darren Peterson. And I get that spans across multiple front offices. But at some point in this CBA, in this Kings rebuild that the team's clearly headed for, they're going to have to retain that talent after developing it. Daquan Plowden is going to be an interesting situation. Can't wait to talk to Jeremiah about that. So that is my beef with it. And I know Devin doesn't fall into that exact category, but it's just, Kevin brought up Stockton. Look at how well things are going down there. And how many of these players go and spend a ton of time down there. And the front offices, it's all under one roof. And it's in collaboration. But I just don't know how a Keon Ellis falls through the cracks. You know, look at Colin Gillespie. He was somebody that was a two-way in Phoenix's system. And Phoenix said, the only way we're going to know if this guy can play or not is we're going to give him some runway. And now look at what he's doing in Phoenix. The Kings just have sometimes an issue when it comes to getting to that point where it's time to give those players runway. Now, they haven't had an issue with Dylan Cardwell, but let me ask you this. Would Dylan Cardwell had sniffed the court if not for injuries? And I get it's not a fair question, but do you see my point? It's an interesting one. I think Daquan Plowden, I would put it a level below because of he's in between two positions. And Jeremiah was asking questions about it last night, which we'll talk about on the other side. So a lot still to come on the show from the 650. You going to miss Kenneth Walker? Yeah, you know what? I'm not. And here's why. Well, I'm going to miss what he brought to Seattle, but I have full, complete trust in John Schneider. He is the NFL's version of Sam Presti. He knows the right time, or he has proven that he knows the right time to get off talent, i.e. Russell Wilson, i.e. Tyler Lockett. From the 916, do you think Max plays better and with more confidence knowing Sabonis is out? Absolutely. Where are those minutes going to go? That's a big part of that for a young guy. I asked Coach Christie about that a couple of weeks ago, and he said the same. So a lot still ahead today. Big thanks to Grant for letting me sit in for him on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Thank you if you're watching on the simulcast. Want to get you involved in the show as well, 916-779-0929. You can call and text that number. But coming up next, top of hour number 2, Jeremiah Salmonson, Section 105 podcast, journalist, Kings and A's insider, Sacramento Radio Services. We'll talk to him about the Kings. We'll talk a little bit of A's as well. And yes, I am aware that Adam Silver dropped a hammer today. Problem is, that hammer came a week too late. Hour 2 straight ahead, the Grant Napear Show here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
There's a unique place in downtown Sacramento on the corner of 16th and V Streets that is special for those who enjoy a fine cigar. It's called Hattaway Cigars. It's that little red place right there at 16th and V Streets. It's spelled Hattuey. The Hattaways are a distinguished family of cigar makers originally from Cuba. And for 3 generations, the Hattaways have produced world-class hand-rolled artisan cigars like the Habana and the Gran Cubano, world-class cigars favored by cigar aficionados from all over the world. Hattaway cigars originate from Cuban seeds, grown in the historic El Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic, where many of the world's finest cigar tobaccos are grown. Hattaway Cigars' spacious lounge features a walk-in humidor with more than 100 different varieties of hand-rolled cigars. Hattaway Cigars, open daily downtown at 16th and V, online at hattawaycigars.com. Please be at least 21.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
We all want to look and feel our best. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to live your best life every day. There are simple, practical, and inexpensive changes that you can make in your life today that will elevate your life in so many incredible ways. If it feels like it's time to hit that reset button and start living your best life now, Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to schedule a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby, an accomplished author and expert in the art of aging gracefully. As we age, things change. We might start to experience lower energy, changes in mood, brain fog, or just a lack of motivation. And for guys, the onset of middle age can mean a lower libido and oftentimes ED. These things can usually be safely and easily treated. Visit gettingbetternow.com today and schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center located in Midtown.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 2, the Grant Napear Show, here on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Rhino in for Napes today. Fun hour number 1. Go check it out. It will replay at 6 o'clock once we are done with the show. Joe Davidson joins us during the 5 o'clock hour. We've hit what's going on in the NFL. A lot of activity there. We've had Kevin John already. That was a really good conversation. And again, a lot of you came out to Brewfest this weekend. I just want to thank you on behalf of Grant and I. That was a ton of fun getting to meet all of you. But as promised, we joined hour number 2 with a really, really great guy. Awesome at what he does. He is a journalist and Kings and A's insider for Sacramento Radio Services and co-host of the Section 105 podcast. We are joined by Jeremiah Salmonson. What's up, Jeremiah? Oh, we lost him. Jeremiah, call back. That was my fault. My bad, Jeremiah. I just dropped the hammer on Jeremiah. Here we go. Jeremiah, that's a bad way to start off your first appearance here on Fox. My bad, brother.
No worries. Hey, if I don't, thanks for having me on, first of all, Rhino. And if I don't join any program without a technical difficulty, it's like, was I even there? So it's always a part of my appearances. But thanks again for having me on, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that you could join us today. I know it's old news, but I do want to touch on it because people are still sending us messages because Russ had a triple-double last night. You were in the room the other night when Russell had his outburst with the media. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I think it caught all of us. Well, I know it caught all of us off guard. It was to, I guess, set the scene. It was really just, the normal beat writers, radio people, television people in there for the post-game press conference as usual. We talked to Drew Eubanks just prior to Russ, and Russ comes to the podium. Jason Anderson of the Sacramento Bee asks him a very normal question. He answers it. And then right after that response, he kind of goes into this rant of his dislike of the way that he has been covered or that the team has been covered recently by Sacramento media. And he had some specific guys to point out in that discussion, but he kind of opened it up to everyone in Kings media or to voice his displeasure with the coverage. And yeah, it was certainly a bit of a tense moment. You're not really sure what to do in that sort of setting. Normal press conferences, you have prepared questions, you ask the players or the coaches, and they give their responses. And this was much more of kind of an open dialogue that it turned into. So it was certainly, it was interesting to say the least, as someone who wasn't really a part of the back and forth being addressed directly by Russ. I didn't have, any particular retorts for him, but it was certainly interesting to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jeremiah Salmonson joining us here on the Grant Napear Show. Rhino in for Napes today on Fox Sports Radio. You've been a part of many Kings seasons, many A's seasons. How do you, how do you describe what this year has been from your perspective?
Yeah, like the last calendar year, it's been an interesting time for Sacramento sports, right? I mean, the Kings have fallen from grace, if you will, after their really upstart team and their upstart campaigns that they had a couple of seasons ago. This Sacramento Kings team is one of the worst, if not the worst team in franchise history. And, that's not that's not being sensational. That's just the reality of it. They're currently 15-50. And just not a very good basketball team. So that along with, last season being the first inaugural season for the Athletics playing in Sacramento, I think the way that the Athletics handled that, not putting Sacramento on the jerseys, not claiming the city as their own, even temporarily. I think that was also a bit of a learning experience for the city of Sacramento and its sports fans. I mean, the A's certainly got some support, but I think much less than they would have if they would have embraced the city. And so, yeah, it's been, as a person covering Sacramento sports for almost a decade now, as well as, the Giants and the Athletics, as well as San Jose hockey. It was certainly a weird year for the sports landscape in Sacramento this past calendar year, and I think it just continues into this year.
A lot of excitement around the A's this year. They've got some good young players. They're going to be in Sacramento for a guaranteed year this season, probably for a third season. But there's also this talk, and I know Brody Brazil brought out or dropped a little bit of a YouTube video on this, that there might be a bigger push for Major League Baseball in Sacramento beyond this. What's your take on all that? And can Sacramento really be a baseball town?
Yeah, so I'll answer that in two parts. So the A's coming into this season are certainly a very exciting team to watch. Regardless, if you're a scorned Oakland Athletics fan, and reasonably so, and very remain angry about the team leaving Oakland, I can totally understand that. And if you've stuck with the team, or if you're a Sacramento baseball fan and you have been excited about the A's being here. Either way, the A's are a very exciting team this season. I mean, their biggest question remains pitching. Their lineup is going to be punishing. I mean, pitching staffs are going to dread facing the Athletics this season, with guys like Jacob Wilson coming off his All-Star campaign, Rookie of the Year Nick Kurtz, anchoring that lineup, guys like Tyler Soderstrom and Lawrence Butler, who have both now signed extensions with the A's. Their catcher, Shea Langoliers, these are all, 80 RBI, 20 home run a season potential guys.
Wow.
Some more than that. And they are going to be a lethal offense. The question remains, will they be able to pitch? Luis Severino will be one of their starters. Aaron Savale will certainly be in the mix after he signed a deal with them this offseason. You've got guys like Luis Morales, Jeffrey Springs, Jacob Lopez. They're going to have some starting pitching. I think it's really going to come down to the bullpen, but they're really going to be an exciting team to watch this season. And then to your other question about can Sacramento be a baseball town, and Brody Brazil's comments and the push the city's kind of been making recently to maybe keep baseball here long term with an expansion team. I think baseball can definitely thrive in Sacramento. There's questions, I think, to is the corporate money here that it would require? Right. Baseball is obviously kind of a daily sport. It's really a grind. Can you get those types of, everyday fans in Sacramento to come out to the ballpark every day? I think you absolutely can. I mean, if you just look at the support that the Republic and the Kings get, I think you absolutely could. But to be perfectly honest with you, Ryan, there are other cities that have done much more preparation for expansion for Major League expansion than than the city of Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have cities like Salt Lake City, you have Portland in the mix, you have a Nashville in the mix, you have all these cities that, have ownership groups lined up or have talked about ownership groups being lined up. Even a city like Orlando has voiced their hopes for maybe getting a Major League Baseball franchise. So I think baseball could absolutely thrive in Sacramento on an expansion basis after the A's leave. I just think if Sacramento really is serious about it, they really have to get in gear and get corporate money involved and some sort of stadium and ownership deal put together, because these other cities already have that.
It's a great point. Jeremiah Salmonson joining us here on the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. One more baseball question. with the looming CBA that the owners and the players are going to have to agree to, and the owners wanting salary cap or baseball wanting a salary cap, Jeremiah, is baseball walking down a path potentially that could be very, very bad for the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we haven't really had baseball hasn't had a work stoppage in a long time, where it's cost significant portions of the season. And the last time they did, it really, I think, damaged baseball's reputation, and it took a while for fans to really come back. They have. It's obviously the sport has rebounded. I think there's a lot of negativity around the sport, and it's not just the CBA. I think there's a lot of negativity around the sport in general. I think baseball owners are viewed as some of the more unlikable owners in sports. Obviously, every sport has their owners that fans don't like or players don't like, but I think baseball owners are viewed as, very greedy and very kind of old school. And I think that has done a little bit of damage to the brand of baseball. I think right now the sport itself is in one of the better spots it's been in a long time. If you take the CBA out of it, you have, ABS, the automatic ball strike system coming into baseball. Fans want that. You have the game has been sped up with the pitch clock. You have stars all over the baseball landscape, whether it's Bryce Harper in Philadelphia, Fernando Tatis in San Diego, Shohei Ohtani in Los Angeles. Whether it's any of these guys, you have stars all over the baseball landscape, not just concentrated on certain teams. And I know the Dodgers have gone on a repeat of the World Series, but there is a lot of excitement around the game and a lot of exciting players. So the CBA, though, it remains the dark cloud over the sport. I don't really know any other way to put it. If I had to, if I had my crystal ball and I were to look into the future, it seems that games might potentially be missed in the regular season in 2027. Now I hope that's avoidable, but at this point, the owners seem really dug in, and the Players Association seems strong, even with the departure of Tony Clark after his recent scandal. But the players seem strong, the owners seem strong, and I think that just means that we're going to see a fight in the CBA, which I think might cost games in 2027.
I don't disagree with you. Like, if we listed the biggest impasses possible that the players and owners might need to negotiate, a salary cap is definitely at the top of the list. There's no other thing that would be higher than that.
No, absolutely. The owners have been clear. They wanted a salary cap for a long time. And the players have been clear that they don't want any sorts of hindrances and constraints on the upward end of player earnings, right? And regardless of what the owners will say or what people who are proponents of a salary cap will purport, you will see certain players make less money under a salary cap. Now, that doesn't mean that, the stars are still going to get paid and things like that. But when you put a limit on spending, it's less opportunity for some of these guys to make money. And I think that is something the players are absolutely not going to be a part of. And so that's where you're really going to see the fight. As well as there's other issues, too, that people don't talk about as much, Rhino. And that's it's the issues of service time. The players are not happy with the amount of years of club control that these teams have over them through the draft. And, you're seeing a lot of these guys not hitting free agency to their late 20s. And, baseball is a sport where I think, some guys can play deep into their 30s, but a lot of these guys, they're losing their bat speed in their mid 30s. And when they're not getting to free agency to their late 20s, I think there's a lot of concern amongst the players as well on the service time that they have to give teams before they can reach free agency. So there's a number of issues that need to be ironed out. And I really just hope that the Players Association and their negotiators can really get into a good faith discussion with Rob Manfred and the owners, and we can hammer out a CBA that's good for the players, that's good for the owners, and that we don't have to miss baseball in 27 because it will do damage to the sport, no doubt.
No doubt about it. Well said. Let's transition to the Kings. You and Mark Haynes do a tremendous job on the Section 105 podcast. I want to talk about that more in a little bit, but I was very interested in the questions that you asked last night to both Malik Monk and Doug Christie about player development, especially with the guys that are two-way players, players that were not drafted. What's your view on the Kings doing so well at finding these guys, developing them, and then the road falls out beneath them, like a Keon Ellis? You just stop playing them. Where's the disconnect with the organization?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because I think the Kings have kind of emerged. And look, I saw some people are like, "Oh, you're glazing the Kings and you're glazing this organization," and I understand that because all teams do have development programs. They all do develop their players through the G League, through 10-day contracts, through these two ways. So I'm not here to say that the Kings are the only team developing young talent. However, they have emerged as one of those teams that seems to have an ability to really harness some of these players that otherwise might not have opportunities in the NBA. And
right.
Yesterday I was talking, maybe more specifically of a guy like Daquan Plowden, who has really seized his opportunity with the Kings. And he really seems that like he could be a legitimate NBA player in some role and as a role player in the league. And so, I think there's a disconnect when you really are trying to, if you look at this Kings roster, like you have DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook, obviously Zach LaVine, who's hurt, Domantas Sabonis, who's hurt. You have a lot of mouths to feed, and I think you might see a disconnect where you're really developing this guy like before he was traded, say Keon Ellis, but you really just don't have a lot of minutes to play him unless you completely uncommit to these veteran players and the minutes that they get, right?
Right.
And I don't think that's a decision that the Kings wanted to make either. So I think it's a tough balance to give guys that you're developing and that are showing promise minutes, while also, having established Hall of Fame players on your roster that need minutes as well, right?
Well
so I think I think that's kind of where the disconnect lies, and I think the Kings have done a pretty good job of it in these last month or so, really getting these young guys minutes and seeing what they have, especially after the injuries to Sabonis and LaVine. It's going to be really interesting to see how this rest of the season wraps up, and then how the roster might turn over heading into next season to really get an idea of where the minutes are going to be distributed for 2020 for the 2026-2027 season.
No doubt we could talk about the log jam at the forward and center position possibly, but we don't have all day, unfortunately. As with Daquan Plowden, I just want to ask one more question about him. Do you feel like he's a little bit in between positions where he's not quite big enough for a three, but not a good enough shooter at the two? Where's his spot at as he continues his NBA journey?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I see that. I see that too. I mean, it's kind of, but basketball is so positionless now. You know what I mean? So I do think you're right with that assessment, but I think he's making up for it with his energy and his effort. And I think you've seen undersized guys in the league in years past on other teams succeed in kind of that 3-and-D role, or just kind of that energy guy that might be a little bit undersized for the position he's playing, but kind of his grit and his work ethic kind of outworks maybe the undersized nature of the position he's playing. So, I think they're still trying to figure it out. I think they're still trying to figure it out with guys like Keegan too.
Yeah.
Like where does Keegan really need to fit? I mean, Doug says, he wants Keegan to play here, and Keegan says, "Oh, I prefer here." And, it seems like they're really trying to sort that out as well with a guy like Keegan Murray as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. But at some point, not to pivot off of like a Daquan Plowden, but at some point for guys like Keegan, there's going to have to be some, come to Jesus, reconciliation of like, okay, you just need to like figure out where you're going to be, and you need to really hone the skills there,
No doubt.
And because he has had a very tumultuous last couple of years of like, okay, we need you to do this. We need you to do
That's
this.
right.
We need you to now do this. And so I think for the good of a guy like Keegan's career, he's going to really have to kind of pick his lane and really develop in that specific lane at some point.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that was supposed to be this year. He came into training camp having a different summer than he had his previous summers. Like, this was going to be the year. Management wanted to get him to the 3, and then injuries struck with him. Speaking of Keegs, do you think he's going to be back this season? Have we seen him play his final game?
I think you probably will see him back. That's my guess. Given what I'm hearing and kind of his status, I think you will see him back for a little bit. But I don't think it'll be a lot. I don't think the workload will be very sustained. But I do think you'll see him back. I think the Kings do desire to have him back on the court before the end of the season. And I think that's what he wants as well. But you never know. I mean, the ankle situations are tricky. So if he has a setback, he certainly could be out for the year. But I do anticipate you seeing him back. So it sounds like he'll be reevaluated in the next week or so, and we'll see from there what the situation is.
Jeremiah Salmonson joining us for just a couple more minutes. Okay, so Mark's been on the show a couple times, your partner on the Section 105 podcast, which I think is like the best podcast name for a Kings podcast, because it's kind of inside. It's just perfect. And he told the story of how you guys landed on it. I want to hear it from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what Mark said about how we landed on it, but the Section 105 is, like you said, it's kind of an inside thing. If you're just an NBA fan, because we talk NBA at large on there. We definitely have Kings segments, but we mostly talk NBA at large. And so if you're not plugged into the Sacramento media scene, you might not know what Section 105 is, but that is the proximity of where a lot of the media is in the Golden One Center. And so that is kind of just like the perfect name of where the action is, and where we're at when we're covering Sacramento games. And so that's kind of how we came up in general with the name. But yeah, Mark is super talented and brings a lot to the table with his career and the work he's doing covering the NBA. I appreciate the kind words on our podcast there. We really enjoyed doing it, and we love trying to provide kind of a little bit of a unique environment to discuss the NBA as a whole on the Section 105 podcast.
Yeah, it's great. Go check it out. And I know we're not supposed to root, but when the losing streak was going on, were you kind of silently rooting for it to continue?
Yeah, man. I mean, it every time we would record a new episode and I saw Mark Haynes with his uncut, hair, it was pretty funny. I mean, there at some point it got pretty wily there. He had to get an edge up, but he didn't cut it. He stayed true, and he was stood it the whole time. Yeah, that was quite the streak there. It was getting a little bleak there for Mark Haynes.
I mean, and he had All-Star Weekend coming up too, and I think that's when he got the little lineup. That was really, really entertaining, but good stuff, man. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Go check Jeremiah out on the Section 105 podcast, SAC Radio Services. And what's your Twitter handle, Jeremiah?
Yeah, my Twitter is at Jeremiah Salmon.
There we go. Perfect, dude. Awesome stuff. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you, brother.
Of course. Thank you, Rhino. Pleasure to be with you.
Good stuff from Jeremiah. He knows his stuff. Him and Mark are such a great partnership. I could not think of bringing two better personalities together. It works so well, and they both know their stuff. Mark's been on. You just heard that Jeremiah knows his stuff, and he is the guy to follow for Oakland A's coverage here in Sacramento. He is right there in the trenches and knows what is going on. So awesome stuff with him. It's been a fun day so far. We got to get to your reaction on the other side. If you want to call the show, 916-779-0929. You can also text the show as well. We'll catch up with your text messages, and we will talk about the hammer that Adam Silver dropped today. Any guesses on what that might be? It's gotten a lot of run on this show. Rhino in for Grant today. Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Hey, folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family-owned, locally owned, HVAC experts, serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
Downtown Ford Sacramento welcomes you. With literally acres of new and Ford certified pre-owned vehicles on site, you can start planning a road trip up into the snow now because Downtown Ford has the vehicles to get you there. And our top-notch service team will keep it running perfectly as long as you own it. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and fleet vehicles. Downtown Ford Sacramento. Open daily on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center.
Get the best. Bridgestone tires are engineered to keep your world moving, and that's what really matters. Now through March 31st, buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires and get $80 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. For the best selection in Bridgestone tires, get to Express Tires at 7215 Watt Avenue in Sacramento. Express Tires. Save big and get their 60-minute install guarantee. Get to Express Tires at 7215 Watt Avenue now. Express Tires.
Are you SAC Alert? Have you signed up to receive emergency alerts via phone, text, email, or app? Well, what are you waiting for? Winter is coming, and that means there is potential for storms and flooding in our county. Don't get caught off guard or left in the cold. Get urgent storm evacuation and shelter information immediately sent directly to your device. Sign up today at sacramento-alert.org. Again, that's sacramento-alert.org. It's free, quick, and easy to do, and can literally be a lifesaver.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The Monday edition of the Grant Napear Show. Rhino in for Nate today. Thank you so much for joining us. Whether it be on the Fox Sports KSAC app, free to download, listen anywhere. Fox Sports KSAC YouTube, live simulcast. We launched the visuals. If you want to see our mugs, go there. Follow Fox Sports on YouTube. We'll be simulcasting every day. My thanks to Jeremiah Salmonson for joining us just a few minutes ago. Great stuff from him about Major League Baseball, the A's, and even the Kings. I want to get to some of the sound from last night. Russell Westbrook, triple-double. Some of the best ball movement we've seen from the Kings in this season. I mean, it's hard to remember all of the good moments here and there because there's been so much of the bad, unfortunately. But last night was definitely coming into the season what Doug Christie was looking for. There's a couple of categories that we always look at for the Kings. And if the Kings are at where we think they need to be, in those statistical categories, as Doug Christie usually says, the result will turn out. Don't worry about the result. Just worry about this, and the result will usually be good. It usually does. And assists were one of them last night. The Kings had 31 assists going into the fourth quarter. That's what you're looking for. They ended up finishing with 33, only 4 turnovers. How about that? It was a 21 assist, 1 turnover half in the first half for the Kings. Now, the fourth quarter slowed down significantly. Little too much ISO for my liking, but nonetheless, they get the victory over the Bulls, breaking the 9-game home losing streak, and back in action tomorrow against the Indiana Pacers. Wonder what attendance is going to be like. Should be interesting as this homestand continues. From the 9-5, Rhino, what are your thoughts on Cody Rhodes winning the title back? You know, Grant's not here. I'm filling in for him today. I might be open to tackling that subject. I might be. You might drag me there. Might be able to get there. Jeremiah getting some love on the YouTube chat. Kevin Herter is shooting 15% from 3 since he got traded to Detroit. Interesting. Yes, and Patrick gets to where we were ultimately going to get to after Jeremiah. I teased it going into the break. Adam Silver decided this afternoon, in the midst of all this NFL news, that it was a good time to announce via NBA communications that the NBA cancels, yes, cancels the Atlanta Hawks March 16th in arena promotion. Now, some of you that might not be familiar with said promotion might be saying, well, what's the big deal? They canceled a promotion. The big deal is the Atlanta Hawks were going to have a Magic City night. It was going to be themed around a strip club that has some, I would say, musical, cultural history that is significant to many Atlanta residents. They're also known for, allegedly, the best lemon pepper chicken wings in the country. This Magic City night, by the way, ticket prices on the secondary market were going through the roof. This night has been announced now for, off the top of my head, at least a week. You've had a NBA player come out and voice his displeasure about a night that is centered around a strip club that also has a Stars series going right now, that the owner of the Atlanta Hawks has put the money behind, that he's involved in. So here's your statement today from the NBA. The NBA announced today that it has canceled the Atlanta Hawks' planned in-arena promotion for March 16th. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver issued the following statement. Quote, when we became aware of the Atlanta Hawks' scheduled promotion, we reached out to the Hawks to better understand their plans and rationale. While we appreciate the team's perspective and their desire to move forward, we have heard significant concerns from a broad array of league stakeholders, including fans, partners, and employees. I believe canceling this promotion is the right decision for the broader NBA community. End quote. Okay. You're canceling Magic City Night. Hey, Adam, Kamish, here's an idea. Maybe it's a good idea to have the teams run their promotions by the NBA office before announcing said promotions, Adam. You're telling me it took the NBA a week, at least a week, to ponder whether or not to cancel this night? I don't have a copy of the NBA rulebook, Adam. I don't know whether or not teams have to run those things by you. But here's what I do know, Adam. The cat is out of the bag. You can't repair the damage. Magic City has gotten more run now and is going to get more run because of the cancellation. If you wanted this to go away, you should have just let the night go on. Because now it is going to be a bigger topic than what it was. And let's be clear, there were not going to be poles attached to the floor at the State Farm Arena. There were not going to be dancers on the floor that aren't employed by the Atlanta Hawks. It was going to be a celebration of the importance of that institution to the city of Atlanta. So, Adam, what I'm saying is you just poured gasoline on a fire. That debate about whether or not the Hawks should have the night honoring Magic City now has a completely new life. And if you are one of the fans that went onto the secondary market to purchase tickets, and by the way, the last time we checked, Grant and I checked, on this show, the cheapest ticket to get in that building was upwards of $250. I'm thinking I'm a little bent. Ultimately, there's no recourse probably for those fans unless the Hawks decide to do something. This thing was all but, I don't want to say dead in the media, but it was on its last legs, and you probably wouldn't have heard much until the day before the game. You would have heard something the day of and the day after the game. And my guess is, and this is just my take, not saying I agree with the night, not saying I disagree with the night, but my take is by the time you get to that night and that night happens, it probably would have been fairly benign. I'm not upset at the commish canceling Magic City Night. What I'm upset about is it taking a week to cancel Magic City Night. Was it that in-depth of an investigation and a conversation that it took a week to realize this was not in the best interest of the NBA? Get out of here. That's a 24 to 48 hour decision. It's a yes or no. It's not a gray area about teams being concerned. and the Hawks telling us why it's okay. You're either with it or you're not with it. There's nothing the Hawks are going to tell you that's going to overturn what the other side of the owners and the fans who aren't with it are arguing. It's a yes or no, commish. It hits your desk. It doesn't warrant an investigation. Take your rubber stamp, yes or no, and let the Hawks know. It's the latest, and it really shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's the latest in missteps of this commissioner just this season. Adam, if I had to summarize your time as commissioner with one word, it would be this: indecisive. You remember when LeBron James made contact with an official? And I'm not saying like, he kind of rubbed shoulders. No, he roughed up an official. The NBA did nothing. Adam wasn't even asked about it at a press conference. But then a few nights later, a player barely brushes up against an official and they're tossed from the game. Do you want me to keep going? Like, who is advising Adam Silver? He's got to grow a pair. Stand up to your players. Represent your owners. Use common sense, Adam. A week. And now you've got a fan base that's probably bent. The Hawks already had merch. How do we get to that point before the NBA is looking at promotions? My guess is promotions in a logical world that teams want to run for a game, they're not decided spur of the moment. There's planning that goes into those. So why are they not already on the NBA's radar? It's a bad look for the NBA. And now you have, again, poured gasoline onto this Magic City story. You know who's thanking you right now? Magic City. You know who's thanking you? The owner of the Hawks. They can't pay for this type of run and publicity. But you give it to him, Adam. You should have just let the night go. You were too far down the creek. And now you have reopened the can of worms for another national debate. Well done, Commish. I mean, what are we doing?
Goodness freaking gracious. What are we doing?
Grant Napear Show. Rolling along. Rhino in for Grant today. We've got Joe Davidson coming up at 5 o'clock. Can't wait to have Joe stick around for a couple segments in the third hour. Not too late, by the way, to get involved on the show. We'll get to your comments on the other side. If you want to call, 916-779-0929. Text messages as well. Thanks for being here. Fun show. Don't miss hour number one. Replays at 6 o'clock if you missed the conversation with ABC 10's Kevin John. On the other side, your reaction. Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. they listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrude Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrude's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrude's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrude's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrude's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabruds. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
The Atlanta Hawks have put out a statement an hour ago. Says, while we are very disappointed in the NBA's decision to cancel our Magic City promotion, we fully respect the decision. As a franchise, we remain committed to celebrating the best of Atlanta with authenticity in ways that continue to unite and bring us together. That is the official statement from the Atlanta Hawks. Adam, you owe me a cup of tea and some honey because my voice is nearly blown out because you just blew up this entire Magic City promotion, both literally and back into the media. Your reaction in a second. Rhino in for Grant today on the Grant Napear Show. Let's get to the phones. Let's bring in Lynn from Sacramento. Lynn, what's going on today, buddy?
Ryan, how are you doing, man? You are so right. This decision, when it first came out, should have been done within 20 to 48 hours. It was basically out of the media until this firestorm hits and again on 3-9. And it's crazy, man. They're getting more press free because there's a whole thing going on. It's crazy. So they're getting pressed. The club's getting pressed. This program on shows getting pressed. So it's just crazy how this happened. I got a question for you. So let me set this up. My wife went to dinner with her brother, and her brother told how great the Spurs are doing. And he asked her, "Is Lynn watching the Spurs?" So later that evening, she comes home and asks me, "Are you watching the Spurs this year?" And I said, "No, I'm not." She goes, "Honey, I really have been enjoying the last 10 years because you have been watching the Spurs. We're able to do more things." Let me give you a history. Back when I was the crazy caller at the other radio station, our weekends were dedicated to Spurs basketball. So what do I do, Ryan? Do I give up my racing or do I go back to the Spurs? I need some help, dude.
You can't do both?
I try. When you get older, and that show Days of Our Lives where the sand goes to the hourglass, when you get on that end down there where there's more sand, I like to spend more time with my wife and then kind of not do as much sports.
All right.
If you get what I'm saying.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Is your wife a Spurs or F1 fan?
She likes racing a little bit, but she's not that big of a fan.
Okay.
She tolerates it, we'll say.
All right. I see you.
So what do you think I should do, man? Do I kind of try to balance both of them? Or should I just go Spurs because of this great team? Because I'm not going to lie, I've been watching a lot of highlights, and this Spurs team excites me like it used to when I was at the East Hall back in the 2000 era. I think this team could go far away. After seeing the highlights of the game last night and the other one against the Clippers, man, these guys are amazing, and they are going to probably chase Oklahoma down and get that top record. That's my take on them. What's your take on them? You think it'd be number one?
I don't know if they'll be number one, but here's what I'll tell you about them. They are coming in to a golden age. I truly believe a golden period that Wemby's 22 years old, Lynn. And
I know.
And he is so refreshing for two different reasons. He's different, and he's not afraid to stand up to the established vets in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he's a leader. He wants to be the face of the NBA, and he's going to be.
That's for sure.
The face of the NBA.
And you saw that at the All-Star game.
That's right.
Saw that at the All-Star game.
So if I were you, racing's going to be there.
Gotcha.
I would be focusing towards the Spurs because I think you are going to be watching a time period in which a player for generations to come will be talked about as possibly the best player ever to play the game. And that's going to come with championships. And, whether you like him or not because he left, De'Aaron Fox is just rejuvenated and playing perfectly for that team.
And he found himself a perfect position. But, I might have to look at it. I probably won't do much the regular season. Wait till it gets in the playoff seasons and maybe try to get and balance it out. But I just had to get your advice.
Yeah, I would go Spurs.
I understand where I'm going with that a little bit because as you get older, man, I mean, for you always watch the stuff for your job. With me, I try to use it for entertainment and try not to go as crazy as I was when I was younger.
Lynn, it's the best excuse in the world. Honey, I got to work.
I know.
It's amazing.
I see some of your pictures when I see the phone going on, and you have not the phone, but you have the iPad going. You got the computer and you got the TV. I saw that one of those pictures that you had. That was hilarious, man. I just laughed. I bet you if Grant's listening to this call, he'll probably be laughing big time. He's trying to say, "Dude, help me out. What do I pick here?"
For
Thanks
sure.
as always, Ryan. Take care, man.
Appreciate you, Lynn. Good stuff from Lynn right there. I'd go Spurs. What do y'all think? I mean, racing seems like it's going to be around. It's just me. You're coming on to a very special period in basketball in San Antonio. So that's the direction I would go. The direction we are going to go, top of hour 3, Joe Davidson. Looking forward to. We will ask Joe about Magic City and how this was handled. My take is getting a lot of reaction on the text line and also on the chat line. So thank you very much for that. It's just cut and dry. It's black and white. It's not that hard. If the processes are that poor within the NBA with fundamental stuff like that, holy moly, no wonder this Clippers investigation still has not been completed. Now, that's a little different. I want to be fair because there's literally lawsuits going on regarding that. And I believe even law enforcement is involved with that. So anyways, we've got Joe Davidson coming up here in hour number 3. We are going to spend a couple of segments with Joe. We're going to audition Kurt, our station manager. You got to listen to the next 2 segments. Joe and Rhino. How about that? That has a ring. Joe and Rhino. But no, looking forward to having Joe Davidson on. Again, if you missed hour number 1, replays at 6 o'clock. Grant will be back tomorrow. Looking forward to getting his take on everything. And again, thank you to everybody who came out this weekend to the Beer Fest. It was a pleasure meeting all of you. Fun times. Grant Napear Show. Hour number 3, Joe Davidson, straight ahead, Fox Sports Radio.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family-owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
We all want to look and feel our best. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to live your best life every day. There are simple, practical, and inexpensive changes that you can make in your life today that will elevate your life in so many incredible ways. If it feels like it's time to hit that reset button and start living your best life now, Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to schedule a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby, an accomplished author and expert in the art of aging gracefully. As we age, things change. We might start to experience lower energy, changes in mood, brain fog, or just a lack of motivation. And for guys, the onset of middle age can mean a lower libido and oftentimes ED. These things can usually be safely and easily treated. Visit gettingbetternow.com today and schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center located in Midtown.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Over the last couple of years, international competition has reminded us of something very powerful. National pride changes everything. We saw it in hockey with the Four Nations tournament, where the intensity rivaled playoff hockey. We saw it in the Olympic basketball with Team USA. Now, the same energy is showing up again in the World Baseball Classic. Even with some countries missing pieces of their ideal rosters, the emotion has been undeniable. The games feel different. They feel urgent. Puerto Rico's walk-off home run against Panama was reminiscent of playoff baseball with a celebration to match the moment. The Tigers ace, Tarek Skubal, initially planned to pitch just once for Team USA. Now, reports suggest he's asking for another start. That says everything. When players represent cities, they compete for standings. When they represent countries, they compete for something more. The stakes are bigger, moments are louder, and suddenly even exhibition baseball becomes must-see TV. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. 2 words, prostate exam. Relax. Screening starts with a simple finger-free blood test. Around 1 in 8 men in the United States will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Prostate cancer can have over a 99% 5-year relative survival rate when caught at a localized or regional stage. If you're 40 or over and have a prostate, visit relaxitsabloodtest.com to see if a PSA blood test is right for you. Talk to your doctor about screening and the next steps. Sponsored by Novartis. Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of General tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan to see their General tire test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way to...
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 3 already here on the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Rhino sitting in for Napes today. My thanks to Kevin John, Jeremiah Salmonson, who joined us earlier in the show. Remember, catch hour number 1. We replayed at the top of the 6 o'clock hour. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Better stuff. Straight ahead right now. A guy that I grew up reading, a guy that I would run to the paper when I was in high school, much like many of you that might be listening right now, to see what he was writing about our opponents. Maybe if my name would come up in an article. He's done that for so many and affected this region in a way that I don't think many regions, youth sports-wise, high school sports, college sports-wise, are affected. Of course, I am talking about the one, the only, my personal favorite, Joe Davidson of the Sacramento Bee. Joe, thank you so much for making some time for me today here on Fox Sports Radio.
Rhino, it's always good to hear from you. It's always good to talk to you. And like I've said, the show just seems to be better when Grant Napear is out signing autographs or doing whatever he's doing out there, jury duty. I don't know, help a man amongst the people. But no, you're a great boost, and it's good to hear your voice. And thanks for the kind kudos, gift certificate or cash coming your way.
Oh, really? Really? Okay. I mean, if you're going to, I'll spend it on us for our hydration and some pizza.
You won't say no, right?
Yeah.
Hydration. Yeah, exactly. Drink responsibly.
Exactly right. Hey, Joe, before you came on, I was talking about this NBA Magic City thing going on in Atlanta, and it gets all the press, and then the commish comes out today and says it's not going to go on. What's your take on all this and how it's been handled?
Refresh me. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about.
So the Atlanta Hawks.
David Stern, or not David Stern, Adam Silver.
Adam Silver, yeah. The Atlanta Hawks were having a tribute night during their game on the 16th for a local strip club. It's well known for its chicken wings. It has a lot to do with the not subculture, but culture of Atlanta when it comes to music and entertainment. And this promotion really took off, and some people took issue with it. And there was a national debate about whether the Hawks should have the night or not. And now Adam Silver, almost a week later and about 4 or 5 days out from the event, has canceled the event.
Yeah, probably because of an image thing. And come on, let's not fool ourselves. Strip clubs in the NBA and pro sports have been a thing forever. But then again, Rhino, there were decades where there's no way that pro sports will ever land in Las Vegas because of the gambling possibilities and the temptation. Well, it's there. The Raiders are there. The A's are on their way there. Have NHL NBA Summer League and all that. So things are always subject to change. And how about the whole thing with the NBA? We'll never get involved with gambling and the NFL and all. Well, some of their big sponsors are betting sites and gambling and things like that. So if there's money, if there's intrigue, we'll see. But the NBA is always going to protect its shield and its brand, so to speak. And so that's interesting. That's and you mentioned the strip club with chicken wings. I'm sure that's why people go.
Of
probably
course.
Happy hour. That's why they go.
Of course, Joe. That's why it's about the food, right? It's about the thighs.
It's the food and the ambiance and the customer service.
Grant was talking about how back in the day, a lot of the places that in different cities that were only open at the hours they got out of the arena were those types of places. So I guess some places
exactly
are known for
right.
the food. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Food's kind of the throw in.
Love it. Joe Davidson joined us. So Sac State, they get bounced out of the Big Sky Conference tournament. How would you summarize this first year under Mike Bibby?
Frustrating. I had a long talk with Mike the other day. Certainly people remember him as the Kings star guard from the 2000s. He's been looking for a college job. This is his first college job. I thought he did an excellent job. He had 15 new players, guys who'd never been teammates before. That is a hard challenge in itself.
That's a roster.
6 games in, Rhino, they're total. 6 games in, their best player goes down for the season. Jeremiah Cherry, big 6'11", 250-pound power forward with skills. So they lost their best player. And then down the stretch of the season, they were down to 7 or 8 healthy players. You can't compete. And their second best player, Mikey Williams, a high school star in Southern California, bounced around a little bit through the transfer portal, one of the leading scorers in the Big Sky. He misses the last 8 games or so with an injury. So they go to the Big Sky tournament with 2 big problems. They didn't have enough size because of the injuries. They're injury depleted down to 7 or 8 players. And they were 0-16 on the road going into the tournament. And so though the Big Sky Conference tournament's not technically a road game, it's a neutral site, but it's still away from home. So they got hammered in their opening game and their season's over. So they win 10 wins, 21 losses. So Bibby's a renowned competitor. It kills him when they don't win. That's just the way he's wired. And he said he learned a lot about himself, about patience and understanding. He's still trying to teach the game, fundamentals. And these guys in college, they don't know fundamentals, not good enough to his liking. And we think about Bibby, he was so fundamentally sound as a Kings player. He knew exactly where to come off of screens and things, and a master of his craft of shooting the ball and prepared. And he wants players like that. I think his potential is terrific there. It's the last Big Sky event for Sac State basketball. They'll be in the Big West for basketball and other sports, except for football. And Big West is predominantly California. And so I think he's disappointed. I'm going to talk to him again in the next couple of days. But then again, this is not a failure in Mike Bibby. Sac State, Rhino, in 1991 moved up from Division II to Division I. They've had 2 winning seasons since. 2. And so it's been, and a big part of that, I think, over the years is they couldn't get the best recruits that they really wanted because they played in the worst Division I college venue in America. Now they have a nice little on-campus venue that seats 3,000, and they set attendance records. Every home game was an overflow crowd. A lot of that, I think, is a tribute to Bibby. People wanted to come watch. And plus, it's an entertaining product. They were really good at home. So mixed results. He's excited to be coaching. He does not like losing, but he's out there recruiting hard. He's going to get some more size and bulk. They're going to get the big kid back after he redshirts this year with the knee, after he missed over those games, Cherry. And so I think they're going to be fine. But kind of, can they do something? Sure. And you see the team earlier in the season, they could make a run in the Big Sky. The Big Sky is not to be confused with other big-time conferences. But what those teams had, Rhino, is a lot of experience. The Big Sky is not the one and done. Nobody's going to Portland State to play 1 year and jump into the NBA lottery. These are usually guys who play 3 or 4 years, a lot of transfer portal guys. And Mike found out this was a good conference, good players, and superbly coached. So he learned, and I applaud Mike. He was great to talk to in victory, and he was great to talk to in defeat. That shows a lot, because it's not always easy to talk in defeat.
No, it is definitely not. You see that across college, the pros, all the time. Imagine if high schoolers had press conferences. We might get there one day, but I want to ask you a little bit more about Mike and the approach, and I want to talk about the system as well in a little bit, but have you gotten a mindset gauge on what that balance is with Mike between actual old school recruiting and the portal while building a team?
Yes, it's such a different deal. When he played for the Arizona Wildcats in the late 90s, there was no NIL, name, image, and likeness, and it's totally different. There was no transfer portal. I understand the benefit of the transfer portal. It gets so clogged and full, basketball, baseball, football, they can't all land, and then you're dealing with guys who, they're big-time high school players. They got all these scholarship offers. They're used to being the guy, the starter, the star, and then suddenly they're not. And that's where the transfer portal comes in. And Bibby's first signing was Shaquille O'Neal, the youngest son of Shaq, and Shaq came out to his only game this season last week on senior night. We know Shaq, he's everywhere, here, there, and everywhere, man of the people, truly. And he's the Sac State's basketball general manager. What's that mean? That means he helps with recruiting, and he helps with mentorship and sponsorships and corporate and raising money. It's a volunteer position because of his longtime friendship with Bibby. And so Shakir, 6'8", 200-pound slender forward, because I say slender because his dad is everything but slender. That's a mountain of a man. And he grew up in L.A. and then went to a prep school in Georgia his senior year, played a couple of different colleges, and then transfers to Sac State. This is his last stop. I mean, this is the portal. Sometimes you do it a couple times. This is your last stop. So I think the name alone, Mike Bibby, and he's easy to look up. You're a high school kid in L.A. County. You could just type up Mike Bibby on the internet and you'll see what he's about. So I think with Sac State being in the big sky, I think he'll be able to recruit California, and he'll get his guys. And a scholarship is a treasured thing. And they're a year-to-year deal. A lot of people think a scholarship is a 4-year guaranteed deal. No, it's year-to-year, subject to change. If your academics are slipping or if you're just not a good fit, they could cut you loose. It's cutthroat. It's the way it goes. But I think he's going to navigate that well. And if a guy like Shaq, hey, we're going to put Shaq on a Zoom call to help put this over the top, that's a nice benefit. And if Sac State is looking to sell corporate sponsors and fundraising, the guy you send in there, you send Shaq. Send Shaq in there, maybe in a muscle shirt, just to come in there with his shades on and just let him work the room. So I like that plan too. And did not get a chance to talk to Shaq. He was really trying to be anonymous and low key, which is hard to do when you're Shaq. But as soon as the game was over, he ducked out. He wasn't rude. He wasn't blowing off people. He didn't want it to. The theme I got, Rhino, is he didn't want it to be his moment. It's the seniors' moment, including his son. Because I would have asked him. I would like to. Hey, are you going to do this next year? He probably will. Things like that. And I mean, it's not a bad gig if you only have to show up to Sac State once. So that we know of. He didn't go to any other games, and so kudos to that. But frustrating season, but pretty good upside for that program and Mike Bibby, though.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you talked about the attendance, I think that's huge. I think Mike, I don't think Mike is in this just to, be another name short term. He really built his resume from the places that you build your resume in college. He started doing AAU, then he moves into high school coaching, and now he wants to coach college, which is why he's at Sac State. I think it's a perfect marriage, and the best thing that can happen is to get Mike Bibby, a guy like that, here in Sacramento, where you have kids that are going to come out to see Mike Bibby, and then, Joe, the goal is come back for the basketball.
That's exactly right. And, I initially was leery. I said, Mike Bibby wants to coach. What's his experience outside of high school? And okay, are Sac State really only doing this because he's Mike Bibby? And I did a big story on it when they brought him aboard. And Mark Orr, the athletic director at Sac State, I've known him for many years. And I asked him, I said, is he a hire for Sac State because he's a former Kings star player? He said, that's the cherry on top. He's ready for this gig. He knows basketball. We're really impressed with the interviews. And the fact that he's a Kings legend is a nice bonus. I said, fair enough. And when I went to some of his practices, he would stop practice to go over fundamentals. No, you're supposed to screen here and move here. You're supposed to move behind here. And here. Simple little things. So I like that. So it just shows that there's still a teaching element there. And Mike feels like there's unfinished business. He is so indebted to the love and loyalty and backing and support that Kings fans have given him when he played and after his NBA career and now at Sac State. And he feels like, geez, we couldn't get to a championship with the Kings. And I want to be able to coach here, and maybe I could make an impact. So I think that's kind of a cool story. And, unlike Doug Christie and the Kings, Doug Christie got the Kings job because Vivek Ranadive, this is my thinking, is he's going to have a grace period because everybody loved Doug Christie.
Yep.
Well, the grace period's there until the wins are not. And same with Vlade. I covered the Kings when Rick Adelman was there and Vlade and ran into Grant Napear every day. And nobody was a better leader and a team captain than Vlade Divac. And so he got the general manager gig because people knew him. And that didn't work out well and wasn't fair to Vlade.
No, it has not worked out well. And certainly Vlade should be remembered for what he did on the court more than not taking Luka Doncic. And that always comes up. But you said a word talking about Mike and his coaching. You said fundamentals, Joe. How much has that changed between 2026 and 2000 when it comes to coaching our high school and college athletes?
I think fundamentals have always been stressed. Do they adhere to it? One of the bad things about AAU, which is, off-season basketball leagues, and, a lot of times it's a recruiting hotbed, they're just out there playing. And that's where a lot of the criticism comes in. This is one reason I still love covering high school sports for the Sacramento Bee. We're deep into the NorCal basketball playoffs, and the only boys team left is the Folsom Bulldogs, and Mike Wall's their coach. Phenomenal teacher of the game, fundamentals. And so I always like to tell people, hey, if you're tired of the Kings product, go watch a high school game. And these elite programs and these elite coaches teach the fundamentals. And it sounds like just a cliche, we're going to change the culture and the fundamentals. And it's, no, you have to move here. You have to move here. You have to, this is how you slide your feet when you're doing a defensive rotation. And he goes, these kids don't know it or they don't know enough of it. And he goes, even though they're terrific shooters and leapers and ball handlers and defenders, you still need to know how to play the game. And I thought, isn't that interesting? And then Al Bianconi, the strength and conditioning coach for Sac State basketball, and he did that for years with the Kings.
Yep.
He told me that he would go down and watch Mike's teams in high school, go down and condition those guys in Arizona. And he said he was big on it then. He goes, this is a real good message. And the players will see, I'm learning stuff from him that I didn't know. And these are 22-year-old college kids. So I applaud that. I think that's excellent. And, and who doesn't want to play the game right? And old-time purists, Rhino, they're going to go to a game. They'll know.
Yep.
They'll know if there's a difference or not.
Yep. So first off, best Cavs I've ever seen, Al Bianconi, hands down. But I had the pleasure of working out with Al for a summer in between school years in college. And he hooked me up with Mike. And Mike and I spent about 45 minutes. And it was all centered around fundamentals. You want to talk about old school muscle memorization, dribbling form, etc. from the ground up. Yes. And it was pretty cool to see. And I'm really happy to hear that Mike's passing that along. I want to ask you about the high school athletes. Specialization comes up a lot today when you think about youth and high school sports. And then you hear, well, maybe guys are just doing one sport and the same movement causes injuries. now once they get to the pros. Joe, are you seeing a ton of guys that are still doing 3 sports in high school, or is it mostly just 1 or 2? And do you think it makes a difference now?
It's changed over the years, Rhino, and I do know this. The NFL Combine, the NFL Draft, the Super Bowl, the rosters have so many athletes who played multiple sports. Football guys who wrestled.
Yeah.
Football guys who also ran track. Football guys who did basketball. Basketball guys who do track. I'm a big proponent on it. Have fun. Everybody wants to play in college. You can't play more than one in college. You may not be able to play anything in college. So do as much as you can while you can, especially if you're good. I could see not playing a second sport if you're going to be the last guy on the bench. You might get cut. But do it because it's your school and it's an experience. But a lot of it's hard to do. The high school football season, we're looking at the Folsom Bulldogs in football. That's a team that's always in a NorCal championship and a lot of times in a state championship. And so by the time the state football championship ends in mid-December, you're already well into basketball season.
Yeah.
You're way behind the 8 ball, so to speak. And so those seasons have gotten longer. Basketball seasons could go long and springs and spills in the spring. What I don't like, which I think is concerning, is if you have club soccer, which is not high school soccer, but it has high school kids. And a lot of kids get recruited. A lot of the club coaches will order their kids, you are not playing high school. You have that authority, they're going to make it their authority. And it puts a lot of pressure on a kid whose boss, so to speak, is his coach. They're the only people they take orders from otherwise are their parents. And then when the coach says, "Would you get you a scholarship this way?" Hard to say no. We hear the same thing. You're a baseball player. Well, you need to be playing baseball all summer and fall league. I'd like to play football. Now you got that's not fair. That's not fair. And so I think that's a problem. And sometimes on some high school campuses, I've seen this over the years, Rhino, where the football coach and the baseball coach are at odds because they don't share athletes. Now, Folsom, one of the elite programs in Northern California, they share athletes. And it's I think you touched on, when you play different sports, it uses different muscle groups and it avoids burnout. I've talked to so many athletes over the years, high school swimmers, water polo, runners, cross country, and they burn out. Tennis, gymnastics, they burn out because it's so much and so much pressure. I was at a youth water polo tournament last summer to watch my couple of my nephews. And I was discussing with what I saw, because I don't go to youth events otherwise. They were playing a team, and this is based in San Luis Obispo, where my kid sister is. And they were playing a team from Orange County. This is 7 years old and younger, 7 and under. And the opposing coach from Orange County, these are girls, he was ordering his players away from the ball, pull them under the water, elbow them, grab her by the ponytail.
Stop.
And I said, for 7-year-olds, and he got mad at one of those kids when they didn't do it. And the other team was astonished, like, what? And the whole thinking was the referees can't see everything. That's garbage.
That's awful,
for
Joe.
7 years old. And so I was digging a little bit deeper. I didn't have my reporter hat on. I didn't even have a parent hat on. I was just curious. And I found out that the water polo coaches at some of these programs, they want you to in the pool for water polo year round. Yeah, I'd like to run cross country now. 7 years old.
Insane.
So that's a fast track to burnout.
It's a really, really fast track to burnout. You mentioned Folsom, and they seem to be the example of, or I shouldn't say the example, the standard right now in Sacramento for public schools. Would you rank them? And I'm going to date myself here. I'm going to take myself back to high school. Are they amongst the Elk Groves, the Grants, the Nevada Unions at their best days? Has their program reached that level or even a level higher than that?
In football, it's far exceeded anybody in regional history.
Wow.
So Folsom football rose to power in the early 60s as a smaller school. And now it's a large school with nearly 3,000 students. In 2010, they really rose to power. They won a state championship. And they've won, I think, 6. And they've won 13 in the last 15 section championships. remarkable, phenomenal. And they play ambitious schedules. They'll play De La Salle, they'll play San Mateo, they play Bruisers, and it's a public school. Now, the detractors will say, yeah, but they get a lot of transfers. They do get a lot of transfers, but that's high school sports. And if you're willing to sell 30 days per the governing body CIF transfer rule, then you can do that. I don't agree with kids transferring when they already have it made in other schools. If you're already a star athlete at Oak Ridge and Eldorado Hills, why would you transfer to Folsom?
Sure.
And because it debunks the whole theory. People want to believe that, well, you got to go to Mater Dei or Bosco or De La Salle or Folsom if you're up here, or St. Mary's if you're in Stockton, because that's where the recruiters were going to find you. Well, hold on. Recruiters at UCLA or Sac State or anywhere across America, they don't care about strength of schedule. They don't care about wins or losses. They don't care about how many stats you had. They want to see game film that pops. My goodness, look at him just drive block this guy if he's in the trenches, or look at his footwork as a cornerback and his back pedal. And then they want to see transcripts, and they want to see if you have a body. That's all they care about. I hear from parents, and they'll say, I have a junior son or a senior son at such and such school in Roseville, and the UCLA coach said if he catches 10 touchdown passes, he'll get a scholarship. That's a lie.
Yeah.
They don't care about any of that. Yeah. And so how did Folsom get great? Well, they have youth football, much like Elk Grove, Nevada Union, all those great programs in Grant. And that's still the root of their success. Any of the transfers that come in certainly can help put them over the top. But you touched on it. It's refreshing to me that this region, best football teams over the decades have been public schools. The Elk Grove Thunder and Herd, the Grant Pacers, the Nevada Union Miners, the Folsom Bulldogs, the Oak Ridge Trojans.
Yeah.
The Grant Pacers are still great. Grant is refreshing because it's a city school, and city schools can achieve where so many of them are struggling. They don't have the resources or wealthy families and sponsorships and all that. So, but Oak Ridge up in Eldorado Hills, Sierra Foothill League rival of Folsom, with a great coach in Casey Taylor, that's the program I think that will close the gap on Folsom and maybe pass them up. But they haven't beaten Folsom in a football game in 15 years or so. And so it's like maybe it's 18 years, like a 21 game streak. Some of those are 2 games a year with the playoffs and all that. But we're really healthy here locally in football. And then Folsom's been really good in basketball under Coach Mike Wall. Joey Rawlings has done a great job at Sheldon of the Elk Grove Unified.
Yep.
Those are 2 of the great coaches in regional history, another public school. And then, what's another cool kind of thing, we're talking about high school championships. We have 2 girls teams left in high school basketball as the state championship. So
That's
this weekend
awesome.
at Golden One Center. One of them is Woodland Christian of Yolo County, and they are the defending Division 5 state champion, and they're still in it. And then there's Faith Christian of Yuba City. Who? What? Where? Kind of a obscure school. They have 52 students. They don't have football. They're in the Division 4 NorCal finals with a girl behind a girl named Lauren Harris, 5'11" shooter, going to Long Beach State on a scholarship. She's the most prolific 3-point shooter in the history of high school girls basketball, and she's worth a watch. And so that's kind of cool. She's a student body president and this and that. How do these programs get good? They don't even have football. Does anybody care? They care. They care just as much as the Folsom Bulldogs. They just have a smaller stage and a smaller student body. But those are kind of cool stories to see, and who these people are, and the coaches and the players and all that. And then big picture, who wins all the state championships in football and basketball? The Southern California schools. Why? Way more population. And that crunch of numbers just means that more of the cream is going to rise to the crop. I mean, this section, we're in the Sac Joaquin section. It's the second largest of the 10 in the state, Rhino. And these are the sections that the governing bodies. The largest section is, we're the second largest with 200 high schools. The largest is LA City section, almost 700 schools.
Wow.
So that just tells you how
It's a
many
huge
more
difference.
schools are down there. Yeah, exactly. So my theme and motto, my man, is play as many sports as you can. Go to school, go to college where you can play, whether it's Division I, Division II, junior college. Go where you can fit. because it's hard. It's hard and it's competitive.
Joe Davidson joining us for just a couple more minutes. Sacramento Bee. You have, I shared with you last time about some of the stories that you included my name in, but you have impacted so many with your stories. I'm wondering if there's one story in particular that you've done that's impacted you the most.
Ooh, I'm trying to think. Yeah, there was a guy, John Bloomfield, about 10 or 12 years ago. He was a former Grant football player, won a state championship in 2008, bounced around junior colleges, winds up at Sac State, beloved guy, Polynesian kid, big shock of hair coming out of the back of his helmet, proud Polynesian family. And he has something wrong with his lungs, and then he has a lung collapse after a game. He goes in for surgery. He doesn't make it. And before he dies, he's hooked up to all these IVs and these tubes, and his mother asked if I could come down to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember going down there, and she was so sweet, and it's grim. And I remember the lead of my story was, John Bloomfield is in such and such hospital in room 209, tubes coming out of his mouth, prognosis grim. And his mother poured out her heart and emotion about, they were so poor in San Francisco that one day her husband, John's father, brought home new shoes for this fifth grader, little boy John, and he embraced those shoes because they were his and they were new. There's how's that for perspective?
Yeah.
And here he was, and she said, we're losing him. And she goes, I have to make the most difficult decision of my life. When do we pull the plug? And she goes, I know I have to do this. And Marshall Sporbeck was the Sac State coach there, and I talked to him there on location. I was so moved that she invited me in there, and we wrote his story. And then days after the story ran, he died, and she asked if they could print out the big story I did and use it as his memorial service. Absolutely. So that one hit me pretty hard because it's like, this is the anguish of this poor mother, and how did this good guy deserve this? Just a fluky thing. Really sad. I'll go a little deeper. Of all the years I've been at the Bee since 1989, pre-internet, I would say the most compelling stories over the years have been Grant football, City School, Del Paso Heights, Pride of Sacramento. Every time Grant's in a state football final, all of Sacramento pulls for Grant.
Yeah.
When Folsom is in the state final, when Del Oro's in the state final, when Rockland's in the state final, when Granite Bay's in the state final, only their communities are rooting for them. Everybody else couldn't care less. But for the Grant Pacers, everybody embraces that as their team. Elk Grove Thunder and Herd baseball with Jeff Carlson as a coach and all those great players in championships was always a great storyline. The Folsom football juggernaut is always interesting. The Sheldon basketball with Coach Joey Rawlings has always been interesting, and who these people are and what they're about. And I've had great conversations with Eric Armstead over the years, and Shaq Thompson out of Grant, and hardships and reality and real life and perspective and just finding a way. So there's been a lot, and that's why it's still got a hold on me. It's been a real honor, Rhino, to kind of chronicle this area, and I try to do it as a historical outlook, big picture stuff, because it is history. Every championship and every lost championship and every player death and coach death. Hardest stories to write have been the obituaries. Somebody will reach out, and this beloved coach, retired coach, maybe a current coach or a player, current player, recent player, and they're not hard stories to write because everybody has something to say, but they're emotionally a grinder, especially if you know these people.
Sure.
And those can be hard. You go, wow, I am writing about the death of a 25-year-old former football player who died in a car wreck or cancer or something. And so those are hard. But we have an obligation and a responsibility that I embrace and said, we can let the readers learn who this person is. He wasn't just some guy in a football jersey. I just wrote a story a couple of weeks ago. Terrible, awful. Jaden De Jesus Eves, big 6'8" freshman basketball player on the varsity team for Christian Brothers of Sacramento, plays a basketball game, goes home, single mom, no siblings, not feeling well, goes to bed. does not wake up. Probably a failed heart. They're still finding out. That's a hard story to do because it devastates his team, devastates the school, devastates the girls' basketball team because they're all friends. And everybody, all the regional high school teams reach out to Christian Brothers offering condolences. So people come together. That's hard. And you're talking to a coach who's heartbroken and teammates who are heartbroken. And, the least we can do is honor this kid. Yeah. And what kind of young man was he? What did he want to do? And then you ask the coach, and what about the mom? We worry about the mom. We've got to be there for her 6 days from now, 6 weeks from now, 6 months, 6 years, because she lost her only baby. And so those are pretty heavy duty. But there's this unique responsibility and obligation to tell that story, and you can humanize it. He's just not some big kid wearing jersey number 11. He was somebody's son. He was somebody's teammate, and there we go. So those are heavy duty.
Not every city has a Joe Davidson. Consider yourself lucky, Sacramento. Joe, thank you so much for joining us today, and you're the best, man. You really, really are. Can't wait for pizza and hydration soon.
My friend, I appreciate you. I'm not sure when Grant's coming back, but the seat is warm with you in it. I know he'll be back probably tomorrow, but always good, always great to talk shop, and pizza hydration. We'll get it sponsored. We'll get it paid for. We'll be endorsed.
Yes. Well, let's work on that. I will put that on the list, buddy. Thank you again, Joe. Thank you for making the time. Sac B, go check Joe out.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you, Joe. Amazing conversation. Patrick says it in the YouTube chat. That is something that's beyond sports, but something sports also embraces. Joe, think about that for a second. You're in that position and you're reaching out to Joe, people reaching out to Joe for obituaries. He talked about documenting history and the responsibility to do it. I don't know a local section that is as peppered with coverage, both from games and from a personnel perspective. Like he said, a people perspective, the story behind these athletes, like this one with Joe. Incredible human being, incredible journalist. We will be back. Fox Sports Radio, the Grant Napear Show rolls along right after this.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Downtown Ford Sacramento welcomes you. With literally acres of new and Ford certified pre-owned vehicles on site, you can start planning a road trip up into the snow now because Downtown Ford has the vehicles to get you there. And our top-notch service team will keep it running perfectly as long as you own it. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and fleet vehicles. Downtown Ford Sacramento. Open daily on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center.
If you've been waiting to buy a home, then you must be prepared to act soon for what's about to happen in the real estate market. The expected Fed rate cuts will renew the housing market demand. Buyers, like you, will flood the market. Bidding wars will happen, homes will sell quickly. You need to get your ducks in a row, and the best way to start is with an experienced broker to represent you. Village Financial's Spencer Grimmenstein is that broker. Spencer's white glove service, boutique experience, one-stop shop method makes it so easy. Spencer will navigate you through the process from start to finish. He has extensive home listings to choose from throughout Northern California. His 30-year mortgage brokering experience will get you the best rates. He also has access to private money to help you expedite getting your offer accepted and closed. And don't forget that it makes sense to call Spence. Call now to schedule a free home buying consultation. 916-805-4868. 916-805-4868 or visit Spencer's Village Financial website at bfgloans.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Great stuff with Joe Davidson there. A lot of reaction coming through on the chat line from the 916. Ryan, great 30 minutes with Joe. Joe is the man for youth sports coverage in Sacramento. My first read every morning when I got the paper, the last story was so sad. He was so right about burnout. My brother swims USA Swimming. Thank you for the amazing conversation with him, Lynn. Appreciate that. From the 916, that was a great interview with Joe. From the 916, Sheldon definitely recruits for basketball work there. There you go. A lot of reaction to that conversation. So my thanks to Joe. He is an awesome guy. So fascinating. Talk about somebody, maybe he has, but somebody that could easily write numerous books about both the accomplishments on the field of our local athletes, the stories behind them, and the context to life. He sees it all. So very thankful to have had him on the show today. Short segment here because we got to get back on the clock, but it's been a fun one. Grant's back tomorrow. We will definitely be talking NFL. We talked in the first hour about the NFL and the moves. Mike Evans to the 49ers, Max Crosby traded to the Ravens over the weekend, basically right when we got off the air on Friday. The Raiders also signing Tyler Lindenbaum, center. It's a great signing. You got to protect your quarterback. Grant and I talked about that last week. We hit the Kings earlier with Kevin John from ABC 10. My thanks to him and Jeremiah Salmonson for joining us, talking A's and Kings as well. Adam Silver, man, I'm telling you, you got to do better. You got to do better. This stuff just cannot happen. It can't. Getting more wrestling questions. Interesting. Rhino with Evans in San Francisco. Do you think Juwan Jennings will be traded? Mike, I don't know. I don't know the particulars with Juwan's contract. It's possible. I don't know. I do know this. The Niners, how do I put this? Kyle Shanahan seems very hesitant to turn to the young guys. And a lot of times when he turns to the young guys, it ends up working out. Pearsall, although he has had injury issues, has been a very good receiver when he's available. And the Niners wide receiver core seems to always be a little bit banged up. And maybe that's due to the style in which Kyle Shanahan runs his offense. But I would think you want a decent stockpile of draft picks of wide receivers if I'm the Niners. But you got to look at price. You definitely have to look at price. So we are going to take the break. We'll come back, do the final segment, maybe hear some Kings sound. We'll talk about the Kings and the Pacers tomorrow. Grant will be back tomorrow as well. Again, I've been thanking you throughout the show for coming out to the Beer Fest or the Brew Fest with us this past weekend. It's great meeting everybody. So we will be back for the final segment. Man, show goes quick. Appreciate everybody that's watching on the Fox Sports YouTube page, Fox Sports KSAC. Go follow there for the live cast. You can see us on camera. We also do neat little things like put the stats up. See? We are growing the simulcast. You got to go there to check it out. Download the Fox Sports app to be able to listen for free anywhere. Go to the Google Play, Apple stores, and type in Fox Sports KSAC, and you can listen from anywhere. Final segment, straight ahead, the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
We are Fox Sports. You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrude Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrude's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrude's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrude's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrude's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabruds. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort is all about keeping you comfortable at home. And when your sewer system backs up or the toilet suddenly won't flush, that's not comfortable. Sierra Pacific's expert plumbers are always ready to deal with household plumbing emergencies. We'll come out and solve the problem, no problem. Expert plumbing service anytime at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Welcome to Par 18 Golf, Northern California's premier TrackMan Golf Performance Center. If you love the game of golf, you're gonna love Par 18 Golf. Par 18 Golf is where serious golfers go to elevate their game to an entirely new level. Par 18 Golf features Ultratech TrackMan practice bays. These are the very same golf simulator systems that PGA players use to perfect their game. TrackMan systems use Doppler radar and high-speed cameras that give you instant feedback on your swing. It analyzes distance, ball spin, face angle, and club path. It's how the world's very best players train, open for both private and group events, with memberships, leagues, and coaching available. It's for serious golfers who demand more from their game. Located inside the historic Nimbus Winery in Rancho Cordova. Open every day by reservation, rain or shine, day or night. Visit par18golf.com today and experience the future of golf performance.
Out here in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. And sometimes that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Trouble sleeping, your mind racing. So what do? We get help. There are people in our community who are here for us. Sometimes just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Closing segment, final segment here on Fox Sports Radio, the Grant Napear Show. Big thanks to Napes for allowing me to keep the chair occupied today. Let's catch you up on the NBA scores. Right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers blowing out the 76ers, 84-61. You've got the Nets, 65-57 over the Grizzlies. The game of the night, the Thunder and the Nuggets. The Thunder with a 6-point lead over the Nuggets, 66-60. Later tonight, you got a couple other games, the Knicks and the Clippers and the Warriors and the Jazz. The Kings last night broke their 9-game franchise record losing streak. They're in action again tomorrow against the Pacers. Also, Sean Salisbury will be here tomorrow with Grant talking NFL free agency. We'll have a lot to go over with Napes tomorrow. All right. You finally, after reading probably about 9 text messages, you've cracked me. I tried to make it 3 hours without talking about 3 letters, and that's the WWE. But you cracked me. I almost made it. 2 hours and 50 minutes. So I will comment, which, by the way, before I comment, let me tell you this. Spoke to somebody at the WWE last week. We will be having another superstar in studio with us before the WWE returns to Sacramento in April. So look forward to that. Last time it was Austin Theory. We had Alexa Bliss as well. But my thought on the title change, it was the right thing to do. You had to get to Cody and Randy. The tickets aren't selling for WrestleMania. Now, I don't want a rushed storyline with Cody and Randy because there's so much you can do there. It's so nuanced. You've got the mentor-mentee thing. You have Orton, who right now is universally a baby face, but his best work is a heel. You've got the Cody aspect. Where is he going to tease being a heel? There's so much you could do there. It's like it could be a year-long storyline. And you don't necessarily need the title for it to continue. So is it going to be, and this is the other question, will it be a triple threat match? I don't know. It looks like they're probably going to go to Drew and Sacramento's own Jacob Fatu against themselves at WrestleMania. But I don't want to see a fatal 4-way, which I got questions about as well. So there's your wrestling for the day. You got it out of me. You got it out of me. If you're just joining the show, hour number 1 will be replayed as soon as we finish up here. Kings Pacers, as I said, tomorrow. Kings look to make it 2 in a row. How about that? 2 in a row. Also, World Baseball Classic going on. If you have not, by the way, hopped on to Prize Picks with me yet, you got to come on. Get paid. We have only missed out on 2 lineups, since I partnered with Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code RYNO50, RYNO50. And that'll get you $50 in free play after your first $5 lineup. Simple. Choose more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. That's it. No revolving lineups. You can stack players. You can join all the different communities. You can join my community on Prize Picks. And if your lineup gets off to a good start, you can also get early payouts. So do me a favor. Come get paid with me. Join me. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code RYNO, RYNO50, RYNO50 to get $50 in free play after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Has anybody joined me on there? Holler at me if you join me, and you're welcome. By the way, Mike in the chat says 49ers in the Super Bowl. We'll see. Says Bills also in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Would love a short video on Prize Picks. Full explanation for beginners. I could do that, Athena. We could probably do that. We could certainly do that. Man, I had so much more that I wanted to get to today, but excellent conversation with Joe Davidson. Had to go long form with him. So my thanks to Joe. My thanks also to Kevin John, ABC 10. Hour number 1 was with us. And Jeremiah Salmonson, Section 105 podcast, and also Sacramento Radio Services journalist, Kings A's Insider. Appreciate them joining the show. Appreciate all of you who have been part of the show today in the YouTube chat. Go follow Fox Sports KSAC on YouTube. Download the Fox Sports KSAC app. If you haven't already, you can listen for free anywhere. That makes it pretty cool. We'll be back, by the way, tomorrow night with the Kings and the Pacers postgame. But before that, Grant returns to the chair tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Appreciate all the text messages. Appreciate the calls. Football is a-moving. And Adam Silver still doing Adam Silver things. My thanks to Grant for having me in. Again, thanks to all of our guests. My thanks to you. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Can't wait to have you back here tomorrow on the Grant Napear Show. Fox Sports, Sacramento. So long.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for